They're there. They're there. Hello, they're there being Bells, and we're here being Lauren and me, Ian. Welcome to Bars and Bells. This is our third semester.
I'm Lauren.
Full of high fives. Yeah, you said that already. But we're good. We're good. Here we are. So here we are at the Bars and Bells week 1 of semester 3, bar-inspired movements with kettlebell strength. Lauren will take us through that warm-up, and then we'll work on those kettlebell skills as well.
Excellent. Let's warm up our feet lightly here, and then we'll get that bell nice and prepped for some presses. We'll start first in parallel and gently get one foot towards that lunge point or just that bent toe demi-point position. And then we'll come up to 2 feet and down on the other side. Let's alternate this for a couple marches here. As we land, we extend the hip, squeeze the butt cheek, keeping the knee nice and straight. On this one, we're going to take it from that demi-point to a pointed toe, and then a light flex over the toes. Roll back through the foot to the demi-point, press up and switch sides. Use the toes to point, gently flex around over, through the foot, one more time of each on each of this move. As you roll over those toes, sometimes in shoes or sitting all day, we don't get to bend the toes in the opposite direction, so take some time to do that. This time we'll come up. We'll land on a straight leg, and then we'll gently bend the knee, sitting back lightly in a chair, but keeping our shoulders over top of our hips, and then press to tall. We're still on that demi-point, so we'll go up and switch. The other leg, one heel is up, one heel is heavy on the floor. Press to tall. Let's repeat that one more time each side here. Knees are going forward, ankles are in line, hips are lightly sitting back. One more time as we descend. And then we'll press to tall on 2 feet and find our first 2-foot balance. We're up on a rise as high as we can be on those toes, trying to pull the heels away, pulling the kneecaps up, keeping the ribs over top of the hips, and then we'll slowly descend with straight legs, and once those heels land, allow the knees to bend, and then press to tall. One more quick move here, knees bend, stay the same height, peel the toes off, or the heels off, trying to find that toe balance, now with bent legs. Then we'll press up out of that, trying to keep the heels high off the floor, and then slowly descend. Let's shake that off. Take a second. We'll turn, do a plank down, and get those abs prepped and maybe a little stretch from the floor while we're there. With our arms in T-Rex, with our shoulder blades together or lightly across our chest, we'll tuck our chin and start to flex and round forward. As we do this, try to keep the hips stacked over top of those feet, trying to avoid sending the hips back behind us. We're forward folding into that forwardest fold point, and then we'll let those arms go and dangle. Once we're here, maybe take a second, bending a knee and straightening the other, and switch that up. And then let's walk ourselves out into our first high plank. Think of this high plank as a prep for our presses. So we'll drop our hips so they're in line with our shoulder. We'll squeeze our butt cheeks, pulling the floor together with nice wide open hands rooted on the floor. Those lats are engaged. Now create so much tension by making all the muscles of your body tight. But keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, knees down. Take a second off and maybe enjoy a little stretch from the floor.
Awesome.
Like our
bottom of our toe squat, and maybe let's transition into our splits from here. As a fun challenge, could you place your hands out front and tuck, sit, and bring yourself all the way through? No. Sometimes those shorter arms might not allow for that, but have some fun with that move if you can. Always working on that compression and also that stretch and strength. So sitting tall, we have that gentle cow tip in the hip, that anterior tip, and maybe some light fingertips or gently placed hands out front. Do your karate style or dorsiflex ankle, and then do your plantar flex ankle. While you're looking down there, is there a straight line between your kneecap and your toes? We'll play with that idea in our rond de jambe inspired exercises later. Until then, just slide and glide. Maybe draw a little rib cage circle here. As Lauren said earlier, distinguish between shoulder blades moving and rib cage moving. Retract the blades, keep them in nice and tight, and maybe enjoy one last deep stretch with the breath in. And then maybe we should hit another plank up, because I know Lauren has more core strategies to help presses.
Excellent. So let's get back to that plank position. Again, hands are under shoulders, toes are tucked, hips lift to be in line. Now let's start at the bottom of our body with our toes gripping the floor. Our kneecaps pulled up so those quads are engaged. Our butt cheeks are squeezed. Our abs are braced to take the punch. Shoulders are down. Elbows are straight. Hands are spread out. We're continuing to breathe, and without moving, we're going to pull our right hand to our left hip. And then pull your right hand to your left hip. Now pull both to opposite hips at the same time. Remember, we're not moving. We're imagining this tension in X for 3, 2, hips lift. Slowly walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. If you want to work on that compression Ian did earlier, keep your hands on the floor and try to walk your feet as close as you can, keeping your hands flat. Then press the floor away, engage your muscles, and use them to stack yourself back up.
Use your muscles. Awesome. That's been a nice light warm-up. We warmed up the ankles in that toe squat variation you might have seen on that title slide already. So more on that toe squat to come. But until then, me with the bar and Lauren with the bell. The bell will follow with some nice kettlebell presses. Should we hold a bell first though?
Okay.
We should hold a bell.
Let's get over top of that kettlebell. If you don't have a kettlebell, can I use a dumbbell? Sure. But get a kettlebell.
Get a kettlebell.
Until then, stand over
Get a
top of
grip.
your object. Let's take one hand and grip, the other hand will cuddle, and we'll hold and explore that rack position. First hand using your hinge, nice long spine. Second hand cuddles, pull, zipping it up, and getting to that rack position. Let's just review the rack position because it's week 1 of 6 here. We want a nice straight wrist. We want the wrist over top of the elbow and a vertical forearm. The bell will be feeling that, you'll feel that bell on the outside of your forearm. Keep holding that. You'll get some arm meat that'll help. You might feel the bell in the bicep of your arm, but if you're feeling it a lot on the bicep, it's because your elbow is coming out too much in front of you. Tuck it in. Next, ribs to hips, squeeze your butt cheeks, keep it tight to the body as you put the bell down and stand up without. Shake it out, we'll repeat the same thing on the other side. Hinge, long spine. Grip 1, 2, zip it up, put it in that rack position. Do the checklist from the toes like we did last time. Feet rooted, kneecaps pulled up, butt cheeks squeezed. Sound familiar? It's your plank. You're just standing. Ribs to hips, vertical forearm, wrist nice and straight. Think about pressing this bell and then keep it tight to the body and park it with control. Shake it out. We'll go to the bar and come back to the bell in a couple seconds.
I chose that bell today because by week 6, I hope to press that kettlebell for 5 sets of 5. How about you? Maybe that's a goal for you, or just explore those presses. Today we'll be working in 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and maybe even the 5. So let's work from that parallel position now, and a hand could appropriately go on your hip. Then do our ballet point to that midnight time on a clock, and let's just do our karate or dorsiflex ankle. From here, do your turn out of the hip, and then repeat with a turn in. As you turn in that femur on the hip, keep that standing hip squeezing at the glute and pressing forward. Repeat 1 or 2 more here as we externally rotate in the hip, kneecap trends away from the midline, and then internally rotating on the hip, back to center. Let's finish with an external rotation, and then a point of the foot, and bring it towards the side. Can we do that keeping the hip forward? At the ankle, do our dorsiflexion, yoga style foot. Then turn in on the hip, keeping the knee straight. Repeat with a turn out. Are the hips level? Make sure we're reaching that leg down and away on that 45 versus up too high right now. And let's go 1 more turn out. Finish with 1 more turn in. Point that foot and aim to get so tall on the other leg that when you bring the leg to touch, it just about hovers underneath. And then rest on 2 feet. We'll be switching sides, inviting you to turn around, and we'll be doing the same thing now on the other leg. The standing leg squeezes, we point the other one to the front. Karate style foot dorsiflex, and then externally rotating at the hip. Keep the knee straight and turn in on the same hip, keeping the other hip pressing forward. Repeat again, a turn out, and then a turn in, and feel and visualize that articulation of the femur head and the hip socket as we then turn out, finishing with a point. Then take it to the side. We're able to do that keeping the hips forward, cramp up that standing leg butt cheek, and karate style dorsi ankle. Then turn in on the hip, keeping the knee straight. It wants to bend, so emphasize the straight. And then here I am again, and the turn out. And repeat a turn in. We'll do 1 more repetition of a turn out. And unlike that ballet, let's turn in on the hip, point through the foot, and pull that leg in nice and tall. And then reset. Little wiggle. Time to get tight and tough with those kettlebells.
So if that bell or dumbbell felt heavy enough in that rack position, maybe that's where you stay. You practice holding it there, you practice that strong foundation, and eventually you end up pressing. But if you need to stay there, stay there. If you want to press one, let's go for one press each side. So what that means is we're over top of our bell. We'll pick it up to that rack position. Either stay and hold or brace abs, squeeze cheeks, press that bell to overhead. Once here, let's take a couple seconds to bring it down, maintaining that perpendicular forearm to the floor as you pull it to the rack, and then 2 hands, park that bell. If that felt great in your shoulder, then you should keep pressing. If it did not feel great in your shoulder, you should check in with your shoulder and maybe go back to that rack position or holding it on the floor on your back. Ready, set, press that bell towards overhead, hold it for a second, and then pull it down for 3, 2, bell to rack, 2 hands, park. We'll be adding reps each time. Remember, you can always choose your own reps.
That's right. Low to high, and here we go from straight to bent. We'll be bending that knee and replicating the same turning in and out of the hip. So standing in parallel, pull the foot up, and maybe just take a moment to stop at that ankle or coup de pied position. Hike the hip of the leg off the floor, and then gently press it down, squeezing your cramping leg bum cheek. Woof, cramp your standing leg bum cheek. Then pull the knee up towards that passe position, and hike that hip on the outside again, but commit to keeping that hip nice and low, cramping on the other side. Then open to the side, turning in on the hip, meaning hiding that inseam down, and pull the knee back together, standing nice and tall underneath. Let's repeat one more time in that front direction as it goes front, keeping those hips level. Extend the hips forward, and we'll turn in as in that attitude position, and let's just pull that knee back to touch the other knee here, and we'll extend, straightening out. We'll repeat the other time on the other side, and then the next time through, we're going to switch the direction a little bit as well. So pull up to the front and just pause at that ankle coup de pied, hike a hip, and commit to then keeping that hip low, cramping on the standing leg glute. Then pull up to that passe position or at the knee, and repeat. A little hip hike, but make a commitment to keep those hips level, like a bowl of punch. Sound familiar? Great cues there. Then we'll open to the side, cramping the standing leg, and then turning in on the hip. Be careful of the cramp monster, but embrace some of that tension, and pull the knee back together with control. If your hamstring's cramping, use your bum instead, and just gently try to relax that hamstring as you pull it to the front, out to the side, turn in on the hip one last time, and pull the knee back together. And now without bringing the knee forward, straighten the leg, and is it hovering off the floor just a little bit? Great. If it is, that means you're tall and active on your standing side. Kettlebell time.
As promised, we'll add a rep to try to do 2 on each side here. The setup is the same, the prep is the same. We stand over top, we hinge, pull to that rack, up to tall. Inhale as you pull that bell down. Oops. Get tight, press to tall. Inhale to pull down, 2 hands, and park. Remembering you don't just have shoulder muscles when you press, but you have that full body tension. So think about all of it as we go to the second side. Hinge grip, pull to rack, and up. Use that little hop. It comes from here. Inhale down, and up. And then inhale down, 2 hands on, and place it back on the floor. Shake it out.
Strong and stronger. We start that practice strong, and we get stronger by adding reps like that, and by practicing the basics, and even those basics in reverse. So let's do this backwards. Keep the knee exactly where it is, and flicking through the toe, bend the knee out the back. Now cat or tuck under in a posterior tip at those hips, and then gently through the butt cheek, extend that bent knee to the back. Now open that knee to the side. Your foot will go underneath those hips. And from there, near that passe position, just pull the knee back to the front. Now, as that knee drives to the back, make a commitment to squeeze your standing leg bum cheek as you reach back. Then open to the side with the foot going under the hip. Maintain a high tension foot, plantar or dorsiflex as appropriate, and then pull the knee back to center. Let's repeat one last time. Point the foot if available for you. Tuck the hips under and cramp your glutes as you reach back. Then draw the knee to the side. Foot connects towards that standing leg knee and pull to close middle. Now on the dismount, let's go through that ankle position bend to the balls of feet, and then push those hips through, cramping those glutes. Those ones right there. Add a little shake and wiggle. Up to 3 repetitions on the other side. If the hamstring's going crazy on that, maybe just try that down there at the ankle coude-pied position, but let's challenge that knee bend as allowed as well. So pull up. That's right, Lauren, we're going to the back. Thank you. So reach to the back with your tucked under hips. Then reach the knee to the side, and the foot then goes towards that passive position at the knee. Pull the knee back to center using those adductors of the groin, and then push through to the back. Extend, and then draw the knee out to the side, keeping those hips level. What about that standing leg? It's squeezing too, and pull back to the center. Last time here, think hips going forward as the leg goes back. The standing leg is so straight, the bent knee is so bent as it draws out to the side. Then, return it to the middle. That's our 3. Get the toes to touch, and push those hips through, finishing with those glute squeezes, and then enjoy a little wiggle.
All right, round 3. So that means 3 presses. Let's stand over top of that bell. Pick it up with braced abs. So inhale, hold it, keep it, inhale down, inhale down, abs and butts up, inhale down, 2 hands, place it down. Whew. On this next round, I want you to think about that off-arm tension. So every time you go to press, it's like you're juicing an orange in that hand. And when the bell comes down, give that hand a little break. Let's practice it here. Hip hinge, pull to rack. Keep that breath. Juice the orange, let it go, pull it down. Juice the orange, let it go, pull it down. Juice, up, and then pull the bell down and park. Hopefully that tension in that off arm helped make those presses just a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, that tension helps. Here we are now. We've done some straight leg things and some bent leg things. Let's work on our plie integrated with our tendu. So take a single leg and bend it on the inside, and the other leg points to the front. From there, extend both hips together and pull the leg back so it's underneath the hip. Repeat again, out to the front, and then without the hand on the bar, perhaps lift that leg just a little bit out front. Then tap down, and then push those hips right on through until you're nice and tall again. Now reach that leg to the side. So out to the side, use the bar for balance if you need, and then stand up tall, pulling that leg back in, and then repeat to the side again, with the hand on the bar or without. Shift some weight a little bit, and lift that leg or just pretend. Be careful of that cramp monster in the hip. Look at that height, Lauren. Tap down, then extend through, and finish nice and tall. Let's just shake that out and repeat the same thing and then on the other side, in that front and side direction. Lifts at the end. Where are we lifting from? Is it a hip hike or from those deep hip flexors? Lift from your core. It's a single leg out front on that plie shape, and then push the hip through to stand tall. Then we'll do it again. Now lightly, with a hand on the bar or without, lift it up and point those toes. Then tap down and extend through to tall again. Then out to the side, it's the same effort. Keep stacked, heavy on the toes, the heel still touches, and then pull back to tall. And then last time out to the side, keep our shoulders and rib cage over those hips, and lift and point, and then close again with control. Add the shake. The back's really tricky, so save that for later. I'll work those front and side positions until we press again.
Pressing? Okay. We're pressing round number 4. Let's add that rep to try to press for 4. I want you to end with a solid rep. So if that means doing only 3, do only 3. Or 3, not only. Ready? First side. Hip hinge. Inhale to pull. Keep that tension up. Inhale down. Inhale down. Remember the orange. Remember your butt cheeks. Remember your abs. Pull down and park. It's hard to think about all of them, but the more you practice, the more they'll all come together at the same time. Same thing, second side. Hinge, pull to rack. 1, inhale. 2, feet rooted. Kneecaps up. Abs raised. 1 more. and then place it down. Whew. You know what that means? We only have one more round of presses today. Whew. The number 5 coming soon.
Awesome. Let's continue to work on our balances now at the bar. Take a single leg up to that ankle position, down low, that coup de pied. Then let's do a single leg knee bend, and then press through on the hip to stand tall. Then find that demi-point or releve position, and then slow down with a straight leg. When the heel touches, blend it into a nice knee bend. Then press through. Cramp up that standing leg. And find your toe balance with a straight leg. And come down, find the pinky side of your foot, and repeat. Knee bend. Squeeze through. Find a toe balance. We'll do that one more time here as you go down with control. A nice knee bend next. Press the hip through. Find your balance. Hold it if you're available for that. And maybe take that hand off the bar and work on those other port de bras skills. Then down with control. And let the elevated leg there get the toes to touch, and then cramp those glutes through. 4 repetitions. That might be all those calves and glutes can take, but let's build from that. It's better than doing 64 the way our instructors remind us they did back in the day. Pull up to that ankle position, and we'll do our single leg plie squat. Then press through, and it's those glutes that facilitate the releve or the heel position off the floor, and down with a straight leg, and then knee over toe again. Squeeze your glutes, press through, stiff legs, you'll rise to the demi, and down to a flat foot, knees over toes, tailbone reaching to the ground. Then squeeze the glutes, press through. This is our third balance. Let's do one more with a straight leg down, knee over toe. Extend through, it's the glute that lets the heel rise with stability, and then find that balance, or grab the bar, and then down with control. Elevated toes touch, and cramp glutes through. And shake, and wiggle, and press.
All right, we have one last round of presses today. We're going for the number 5. Again, you get to choose your reps, but let's aim for 5 great reps, ending with 1 full rep, meaning don't finish on a failed rep. Here we go. Over top, inhale to pull. It's up for 1, inhale down. Up for 2, up, 3, 4, eyes are up. 5, good. Park that bell, place it down. Whew. Shake that out. Take a nice breath. Second side, one last time. Inhale to pull, and 1, 2. That breath that's helping you is coming from your core, not just from your mouth. So try to get that from the abs as you press for that 5th and final
Oh my goodness.
rep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, that got hard near the end. But that cramp, squeeze the glutes, cramp your fist, and use that powerful breath. Definitely helped get that last rep. Any recovery strategies for the breath next? Whew.
Nice big breath in the nose
breath in.
and exhale. Filling that belly. And do
Well,
more presses.
More leg lifts, and then we're just about finished. Work from that parallel position and pull up to that ankle coup de pied balance. We'll stay on a flat foot here and just extend the knee. Maintain that turnout, the extension or straightness on the knee, hips and shoulders squared forward, and then pull back to the ankle. Repeat now as allowed to that passe position. But first, make sure those hips are level, and then straighten the knee. Maintain the turnout. It's very hard to talk and concentrate in these holds. Then pull it back to the passe position, get the toes to touch, and then cramp those glutes all the way through. Let's switch sides. Give that gesturing leg a little break, but cramp it up with tension now as it stands. So pull up, parallel position, ankle balance. Then point to the front, slowing down the breath and holding. And then with control, pull it back to that ankle and then up to that passe position. Hike maybe just to ensure it's low. And then just like Lauren, we're gonna hold that. Her favorite number, 3, 2, pull underneath, toes to touch, glutes that cramp, and shake.
Do you want to do that to the side once?
Oh, your idea, not mine, but I'm definitely in. So keep it low and be honest with the hip hike. Lift from the hips, stabilize from your core. So first position, knee front, then open the knee to the side. Then straighten out, and rather than the height right now, just work on the cramping standing leg and maximizing the turnout, level hips, straight knee. There's so many cues we could share.
Oh, sorry, I
Then
keep pointing to my inseam.
Inseam.
So that external rotation is inseam up.
Awesome. So then pull up to that passive knee position and stiffen and straighten. Grow tall. Reach through the hips down and lift the core up. And then pull the knee, return to the front, toes touch first, glutes firmly squeeze next, and then we have two sides, and this is the last one for this exercise here. We'll pull up, find the knee to the side. Cramp your standing leg, inseam forward, nice straight knee, toe point of course, and then pull it back to the ankle. Then lift the knee high and the hip sends itself low to make room, and then we'll extend that too, and maybe the hands out to the side, on the hips, overhead, return the knee to the front then, toes, glutes.
Let's do one quick goblet hold here to finish up with that kettlebell. We're gonna pull the bell into that goblet position and just finish with a nice strong standing plank. So you'll quarter turn that bell so your handle is now perpendicular to your feet. We'll use our hip hinge, grip the top, and then re-grip down the sides. Right now, the bell is slightly off my body. My shoulders are retracted and my ribs are stapled to my hips. So go back to your mind and think about that plank position, and now you're doing that but in standing. Cheeks are squeezed. Now, if you want an added bonus, keep your shoulders low, but look through the window of the bell. And then pull it back to that chest height. And one more time, keep the shoulders low, but look through the window. Pull it back, brace your abs, squeeze your cheeks, and then hinge, putting that bell back down where we got it. Whew.
Awesome. Fired up on the core, feeling strong with those presses, and hopefully a little loosey-goosey, making room in those hips.
One weight transfer?
Oh, I'm in.
One more thing.
I'm in.
One more thing.
One more thing.
Okay. You want to do it? Okay.
You're doing it.
Okay. With our feet in a slightly turned out position, I just want you to point a leg to a side and tip tap on the floor. So you're standing on one leg and you're tapping to the side. Let's turn that leg in just as we started here, hiding the inseam, and then turn the leg open and land toe ball heel, pulling ourselves over and getting stacked on the other side, doing the same thing. Rotate the leg open, inseam forward, turn the leg in, rotate it open, toe ball heel, pull yourself across. Let's do another straight leg balance here. Once you're nice and stacked, could you think about pressing yourself up to find a balance on the ball of that foot and holding, and then landing the heel and pull yourself across to the other side. Get stacked, push down into the floor to grow up. Keep pushing down to go up, hold, and then heel will come down. This time we'll pull ourselves to center. Now we'll do the same thing but on a bent leg. So pull yourself across to bend your knee. Lift the straight leg. Back to the beginning, turn the straight leg in. Turn the straight leg open, showing your inseam. Place it down. Pull yourself across, stay in the same height. Other knee to over toe. Point. Then turn in on the leg. Turn open on the leg. Pull yourself across. One last balance on each side. Start with a bent leg. Then push out of that to straighten. Then push out of that to find a rise and hold. Then come down to the heel, knee bends, pull yourself across, last one. It starts on a bent leg, then it presses up. Then it goes up to find a balance, hold for 3, 2, heel comes down, knee bends, pull yourself to center, then push down and out on the floor to stand yourself up tall. Squeeze your cheeks one more time. Pull your kneecaps one more time. Brace your core one more time. And then relax.
And wiggle it out one more time too.
Whew.
Here we are. This is the end, I promise, I think. Here we are. So again, we feel good with those kettlebell skills because we took our time to get towards 5. and challenge you to, or invite you rather, to accept the challenge of reaching 5 sets, 5 reps with your very own kettlebell at home. Dumbbells will do too. And maybe just push-up reps if that is more your speed and equipment availability. And until then, we have lots more to do, because this is week 1, culminating with our weekend workout, live, 8 o'clock on Saturday, playing with our strength and working on that handstand. Join us then. Until then, check out
our website, as well as our Patreon page, and then make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube and tell all of your friends.
Tell them all.
And until next time, which is Saturday, live on YouTube, take care.
Stay strong.
And we'll train soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Good job. That was good.